twin Rip, who is now StylEyez. This is Basics. I told you Basics was Little Rip. First name I gave him. He worked his way up to twin Rip, then he got StylEyez. So he's been with me for over a decade. I'll let you hear what he has to say about a few things. This is coming from someone that has been with me. He's been in the fight. There's many others coming, but I just wanted to give you a little. He's one of the little homies that still remain from long ago. So he has a lot of wisdom. He has a lot of things that he has witnessed. And from his perspective, that's what he saw. So he's not telling you something that he made up. This is somebody who has been with me. Who created Krump? So many things to tell you. How much time you got? Oh shoot, we all all of these people watching on the Krumping channel. This is my brother. This is one of my best friends in the world. This is not just like a big homie, little homie chat. It's just not even like that. We've spent so much time together. This man has been with me in the darkest of days and times. This is just a real conversation. This is somebody I have a relationship with. He has no reason to put on a show. He's also one of the veterans in the Krump game, in the battle game. You've known him as Little Rip, like Twin Rip, and now he's StylEyez, Basics. He has created his own thing. So he's been in Krump. This is not just a straggler. He's been in, he's done work, and he has things to say. He's had little homies. He's had kill off moments. He's had workshop, all of the things that people bark about. He had those. He saw when it was nothing and coming into what he has as his own inside of Krump. And I support him. This is what fam is. It's more than I teach you how to dance. No, this is like a brotherhood, and this is
Right.
seeing right here is loyalty. So had to give him the proper introduction because people don't like to give honor and respect no more. I'm not one of those people. So my brother, LeVar,
Yeah,
you
yeah.
know, you know I'm out here talking stuff, man. And you know when I start talking stuff, it's crazy. You know, because I'm saying I'm the only creator of Crump. I might be sounding crazy. You were there. You saw a lot of things. So as far as the creation of Crump, I want to know what you saw.
Well, I mean, I wasn't there since day one. That's
Right.
one thing I will easily say. I mean, I
Okay.
wasn't there for the first 4 years.
Mhm.
So I'm not gonna lie and act like I was there and people are like, wait, LeVar wasn't there. I
Mhm.
wasn't. I'm not on here to lie. I'm just here to talk, have a conversation, and whatever you ask, we talking about.
Mhm.
Ain't got nothing to hide, nothing to cap about. So coming in 2004,
This is
first DVD.
pre-Rise. This is pre-Rise before Rise came out. Because Rise came out in 2005.
Yeah, it was right before
Okay.
Rise. I remember when Rise came out, we
Okay.
was like, dang.
Okay.
Everybody, I remember everyone was excited. So this is right before that. Obviously Oceanside, California. You know, I was from
Ozai. Ozai.
OSI. You know, shout out to everybody from the city. Starting at that time, there wasn't too many of us that I was aware of. It
Mhm.
was Nate that put me on, and one of my little homies at the time named Donovan. He had the
Is
DVDs.
that the dude we scared?
Yes,
Oh,
Donovan got scared of
I
Oceanside
want
at
to
Joey
get
house.
sidetracked, but
At
Donovan,
Joey house,
wait a
yeah.
minute, yeah.
Yeah, no, that was one of my first little homies. That's when I was Bam Bam. He was young Bam Bam, which is
Dang.
crazy because there's a new kid named Bam now or Bam Bam now. And I'm like, that's crazy because that was
Oh yeah, he was
my
at the
first
Waste. I
name.
saw him. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, that was one of my first names, Bam Bam
Wow.
Bam. First of
Hmm.
all, we used to watch You Got Served at his house all the time
Hmm.
because we were still serving for sure.
Okay.
Probably
Yeah.
first 2 years. First 2 years we were serving. It wasn't until 2006 that like it started getting more buck.
Hmm.
Yeah, like 2004, the first DVD I saw, it was actually backwards. So before I saw Shake City, I saw Crump 101.
Hmm.
So that's my first appearance of Crump, right? And I think that's why I fell in love with character and it became like a specialty for me.
Yeah.
Because the first time I seen you, it was you and Lil C.
Right.
So as I got around, you know, of course, I had questions about that and what's going
Hmm.
on, but I didn't see Lil C in real life. I just saw him in the DVD. That's when you guys were like partners, and I was like, dang, I don't know what's going on. I didn't know anything about the creation of it either. It was
Hmm.
just in my mind, I was like, oh, these are the two tightest niggas right now.
Right.
You know, talking about alter ego instead of
Hmm.
character and all these
Hmm.
little short stories. I ain't gonna lie, Lil C, he kind of lost the Baby C in the DVD though. Baby C Baby C was barring this nigga
Hey,
up.
do
Don't
you
lie.
know?
That was the
Do you
first time I
know
seen a
that
little homie.
a lot of people were saying that?
Yeah, first
I
time I
didn't
seen a
hear
little
about
homie
it.
beat their big homie. And I was like, oh my God, this is crazy. So
I've seen Lil C kill Baby C off though. I've seen him
I believe,
destroy Baby C.
well, I mean, yeah,
It's not a everyday occurrence where Baby C is gonna be whooping him, but
right.
at that time it happened.
Don't judge me. I don't know if I told you this part. Don't judge me. We were big fans of cartoons. So we called our group Tiny Toons.
Uh, how did y'all hear about the cartoon family? Like, how did you hear about this?
As it kind of expanded, I don't know how Nate knew certain people, but I got to meet Quinnell for the first time.
Hmm.
And Quinnell, Bash, Combat Kid, whatever you want to call him, he's Foolish's blood cousin.
Hmm.
So Foolish and Pico used to come to Oceanside like 2005, 2000, like
Oh,
the house parties. Like
dang.
now
That's where it was at
I
though.
wasn't like popping in the Oceanside scene at the time because I mean 2004, 2005, I'm 14, 15, and these is high school parties. Like
Hmm.
I'm barely even able to get in the party, acting
Yeah.
like I'm staying out at my friend's house. Like
Yeah.
when Pretty Ricky was out, that's the
Ooh,
type of house
that's
party we was in.
nasty.
So I'm like, let me sneak up in there.
Dang.
That's the first time I kind of found about cartoons. And my two favorite dancers at the time were obviously Baby C and nigga Barry, oh little
Yeah.
Miho.
Yeah.
That's why I was like,
Yeah.
hey, I want to embrace being light skinned
Yeah.
because he was like that. That's why being clean and
He was
catty,
crazy. He was
it,
crazy.
and I think it still reflects in my Krump this day that I have that personality of like, you can't see me, you can't
Hmm.
touch what I'm doing. Like, just because it just represented everything who he really was, though.
Yeah.
Like that was really I think his personality. But yeah, that was my first take on Krump, and then I saw Shake City later, and I was like, dang, this nigga Miho crazy. Like, who's that? Like, you know what I
Hmm.
mean? Like, that was my first. Again, I'm not from LA, so I didn't
Hmm.
know. But I'm like, dang, who's that? And then
So you saw
everybody's like,
Miho for the first time in Shake City.
that was my first time seeing Miho. Yeah.
Okay.
While I'm looking at it though, like everybody's kind of picking their favorites, and like the big stronger dude like that we was around is like, yeah, nigga, I'm finna be like Miho.
Hmm.
And this nigga Nate was like, oh nigga, I'm like Eyes. And this nigga used to always do this like footwork stuff. He used to do it so much, and like the bottom corner of this nigga's Tim's was grinded down because he
Dang.
used to always like put his feet like this. So the back of his Tim's was at like an angle. I was like, this is
Dang.
crazy.
He was footworking.
And then I don't know, man. I just liked being different. So I liked how Gizmo danced. Like Gizmo was one of my favorites because he was different. I remember the whole
Crazy.
stacking convo he had, and I was like, I
Gizmo
tried to
just hit
remix it.
me up like 2 days ago. Gizmo
That's
just hit
crazy.
me up.
Ain't he rapping and stuff like that now and doing all that?
I ain't talked to the dude in a long time, so I was like,
Crazy.
should I, what should I do?
Right, right.
He hit me up.
But yeah, he was one of my favorites. Of course, everybody loved Hurricane. That's why it was so exciting for me when I was supposed to battle him at Buckster, but he couldn't make it.
Mhm.
Still had a great exchange with Rec and everything, but that would have meant like a lot for my career because I
Mhm.
watched him when I first
Yeah.
started. Yeah, so that was my first encounter with who are the leaders of Krump and who created Krump,
Mhm.
which I still didn't know from the mix of cartoons because then he had Get Krump.
Yeah.
And that was like the third one I seen, which again, these are out of order. I'm not sure
Mhm.
you can let me know the order, but I seen Get Krump, and then that's when it was super hype. And that's when I was really falling like in love with the style of like how Lil Miho was dancing, but at the same time, like the way that niggas really had family and squad. So we were trying to copy that
So you saw me and Little C first. So those was your like
first.
first two pictures. You saw me and Little C, and then you found out about Miho later.
Right.
So when you first heard the story about who created Crump, I don't know how it looked on the outside, but the bickering was definitely happening on the inside. But
Mhm.
you don't know how much of that is leaking out. So did you hear anything about the creation of Crump? Any stories?
The first story I heard was later in the 2000s, like when Oceanside was traveling more,
Hmm.
going to Mama I's house, going to the Harley Davidson spot, Orange County, IE, all that stuff.
And
And
these
then,
spots, Mama I's house, Harley Davidson spot, these are monumental session spots. I want to let
yeah,
the viewers know, like, this is where we went to dance. If
right.
you was getting off, it was at these places for a while. It became a spot that all Crumpers wanted to come to.
After that, the IE, it was like this warehouse place, probably where they have the corner sessions now. That's
Mm,
when you see in Stux,
hmm
Gideon,
hmm
like all of them out there. I was like, dang,
I
you know
remember
what I
Gideon.
mean? Swings was out there too. Well, I don't know if, well, I think he might have been at the Harley Davidson. Either way, around that time in the Crump King DVDs and all that, that's when I started hearing more about Miho. Because as we were
Hmm
traveling to these city sessions, even going to LA or the Dunamis sessions, of
hmm
course, can't skip those.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
I didn't really see, honestly, I didn't see Miho like that. So I guess that's when he was playing ball and all that.
hmm
So that was that was happening around that time. Celebrity pop outs, people randomly popping out. Obviously,
hmm
that was the whole big thing with Chris Brown and J Slav Al and Chris
Yeah,
Brown, and
yeah,
then
yeah.
Foolish having crazy albums out at the time.
hmm
So he was popping. HOF was a big thing. I believe Lil C popped out, but I don't remember.
hmm
Uh, I feel like I seen something. I feel like I did. Yeah, when the DVDs came out, the new wave of DVDs, you always paid homage to the legacy of Miho and don't
Yeah.
forget who he is and like telling all your little homies that. And then he popped out in the DVDs. Remember, he showed up at a street
mm
session or something, and it
Yeah,
was like
yeah.
the craziest clip that was going around on YouTube. Like,
hmm
that was probably some of the first times I heard that the story was different than what I thought. And that's when I started actually like hearing or actually even thinking about, well, who actually made it, you know?
hmm So you
So
saw Miho enough to know that he was in and out.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Okay.
And then as the story came in of like who he was and what he did, him being gone and then showing up and still dancing like he did, I was like, oh,
Mm,
I can't deny that. Like, you know what I mean? He was either there from the very beginning or built or whatever it was. I don't know, but he looked different than everyone
mm,
else, you know.
hmm
And then when I found out, I was like, dang, that's the same nigga from Shake City. And I was like, that makes sense.
Now, have you ever heard this story about who created Crump from me? Like, what did I tell you about it?
I don't think we specifically ever talked about it. Like for me, it was always like being around, being a friend, training, like
Mm-hmm.
having that experience. The
Yeah.
first time we ever were together anyway, it was to go to church. Like you
Mm-hmm.
drove from
hmm
LA to Oceanside
Yeah, I
when I
remember
was in high
that.
school, pick
Yeah.
me up so I can go
Mhm.
out there, spend the night at B Dash's house for like the weekend so I could go
Wow.
to church, study, lab. At that time, there
Wow.
was no Eyes and Truths fam. It was me and
Wow.
JoJo, who was Little B Dash at the time. He wasn't even Little B
Wow.
Dash yet, though.
Dang.
So to be
This
honest,
is like back there.
yeah, that was like
Wow.
2008, 2007.
Crazy.
And I had left Knuckleheads fam just because it's like I was trying to really be serious about God. And then he
Mhm.
had his moment to where, he wanted to be in Vegas all the time and turning up. So I was like, all
Y'all,
right,
y'all had it popping in Oceanside. I
yeah,
remember looking
for
at these
sure.
things online, and I came to a couple of them because they
Yeah.
were popping.
Yeah, I
So
remember
y'all
you
had it,
came
y'all had
out.
it going out there.
Dang, I remember. I think that's when they was under you, but you came out and you made a track in the car at the homie AJ's house.
Yeah.
Yeah. And you got
Wow.
out and Battle
Actually,
Grim that night to a
Oceanside
track you
had
just made.
spots.
Nigga, we should session in my driveway. But because of Get Crump,
Mm,
that's why we did it. No, me and you never really talked about it. To be fair, whenever I would ask history, it was usually with ER
mm,
because obviously he was there for everything. So he'd be like,
mm.
hey, nigga, so this right here. And he's
Yeah.
talking about
He
this.
was
And then,
definitely the historian of it. He kept all the
yeah,
files for
yeah.
sure.
The only thing that was really seen is either because I was there recording it or whatever the process was. But when y'all were talking about J Smooth and Miho, and that was like the first story that came out
Mm,
to actually identify it. And it was
right.
like J Smooth, you, Miho, Lil C came later. It was like the story at the time, which again I don't know. I don't even know who J Smooth is. I still don't know. Ain't never seen that person. I thought it was the nigga from J Squad.
Uh,
And then I'm like, wait, he was
yeah.
there from the beginning? And I'm like, all right, I don't know. So to me, it wasn't like something that I pushed at, but it was something I heard. But that was the first time I heard you actually talking about it. And that was like around the SK days.
Okay. I'm glad you said that because some people thought that I was poisoning you guys' minds and you have suffered a lot of people misunderstanding you just because of your association with me, because they don't know what we're talking about.
Right.
So I never even told you the story. So
No,
this
we
is
never had a conversation. I never specifically was like, hey, who created Krump? Like, honestly, I didn't care because that's not what
mm,
I got into it for.
mm,
Everyone has their own reasons of why they Krump, but
yeah,
for me, it was always the people around, which again, here's a time where the niggas that we was around ain't around no more.
yeah.
So
But
unfortunately,
you've
which
seen
kind of
this
messed with me.
happen.
Yeah, it's a cycle. It's
Multi
been the same thing over and over and over. You know,
how many times would you say you have seen this, what's happening in Crump right now?
nigga. How many times have I seen it happen since I've been around? Because I know
Since
it first
you
happened when I first came around.
okay,
That's when Truth's fam was getting started, right after all the
right?
Ice fam got like wiped and dropped
Mm-hmm.
and then rebuilt. And then rebuilt right before SK.
Mm-hmm.
That's when the Style Ripper was created.
Mm-hmm.
And then NY came in later, and some of those people came back. And then the new SK, so it was a new wave of people when
Mm-hmm.
SK started. Pivoting away from that to the SK versus Impact cycle that was wiped, a whole new group of people.
Mm-hmm.
Um, what's that, three, four? Uh, not counting the times I've seen, because that happened with cartoons,
Right.
or when T Fly was your little homie
Oh man.
and all that. So I seen that process happen. I didn't know, but I saw it. And then after SK Impact, ABDC happened.
Mm-hmm.
Right after that, another wipe because everybody got they fame situation. It didn't work, and the niggas was gone, or whatever it felt like. So that was a whole nother wave. That was the whole era of the gully block and all that, and me, you, and Spartan being a three-man army everywhere,
Mm-hmm.
everywhere we shouldn't have been,
Mm-hmm.
but we were there.
Yeah.
Uh, After that, Vegas. So Vegas rebuilt, new
Like
people.
this is like we're on like seven.
Yeah, bro. It was a constant thing. That's why I hate when people talking about somebody getting dropped. Like, nigga, it's either people grew up, grew apart,
Yeah.
ideals were different, people got what they came for, or it's been multiple times where people are like, oh, I'm better than him now, so I'm gonna leave and try to beat him. And then it's a
Mm-hmm.
whole freaking DVD or whatever it is. That's been seven freaking times. A couple times with the same people. Like it just keeps going. It's something I've seen to the point where it doesn't really bother me anymore. I wish there was a way to see easier. Well, you know
Mm-hmm.
what people's motives were for and what they came for, but you really can't. You kind of see over time, but then it's like you kind of hope for the best, but then
Mm-hmm.
people still show themselves, and sometimes people come back, but then they leave again for the same situation. And it's like, yeah. And there's even been times to where I had to personally apologize to you because I vouch for people and then they end up being a situation that didn't work out. And I feel like I brought that upon everything we were doing.
It's like, how
So
can
it's
you
tough.
tell though? How can you
Can't.
tell? You just have to take that risk, and I know it don't turn out right. So I'm like, I understand.
Right.
Some of my picks have been the worst, but
Right.
how can you tell? Everybody comes in with a look of genuineness.
Mm.
You don't know.
Which I know everybody wants to try to break a cycle, or they think the cycle is, you trying to take control or whatever the process is. Like, it's not the cycle. The cycle's the push back, the push against whatever the growth is, whatever the evolution is every time.
Mm,
People hated when SK was here and all the groups that came against us. The whole wave of, Crump is hip hop again and all this stuff. This
mhm.
is like season five of that or season four. Um, I
Steady
understand
debates.
all perspectives of it. And that's something I've seen. So I see the debate, but at the same time, it's like, I don't care as long as I can be buck. Like,
Mm.
it doesn't matter. Like, the
And,
same way
and
that people said light feet is hip hop, but before they said it wasn't. It wasn't until it was popping and big, to where everybody's welcoming it with open
mm,
arms, and now they're teaching it. Like hip hop legends are teaching light feet, but when it was
man, I
young
can't
niggas
even
in the
talk
streets,
about
niggas
this.
didn't like it.
And all of these, I don't even know what you call them, these phases of fighting for whatever they think Krump is, power or influence. It's been a fight over the same type of thing.
Yeah.
Have you ever seen, just from your view, this has nothing to do with me being tight eyes. Have you ever seen Little C or Miho within this? Have you seen them remain in it? Like how, as far as consistency, what would you say that the consistency has been?
Usually throughout the part of like the fight for development and growth. Lil C, I did during like the HOF time and like
Hmm.
Neff Squad and all that because they were
Right.
developing like a new style and everything like that. That
Hmm.
was big. You know, they was having sessions for a while in Long Beach, I think. Like, and
Hmm.
that was a big thing when like Fulton was all coming back.
Hmm.
That lasted a good season. That whole thing with like Subtle Buck and all that, and it kind of
Hmm.
changed the
Hmm.
tempo of Crump. Like, so that was one thing, and then after that disappeared. So I can't really say consistent. Miho, he always pushed, you know, what he does that's different in terms of texture and
Hmm.
and power and aggression and really intent, like always big on intent and really living in what he does,
Hmm.
which he'll even say he's an emotional person. So he dances
Yeah.
emotional and you could feel it. And you
Hmm.
know it is. And a lot of times it was there was a time to where it was like he was pushing with us. Like I think he was even like Titan Style Ripper and all that stuff. And I think he was Eyes Deuce and this whole thing. But
Hmm.
the times where it was, I think, the most impactful and heavy is when probably SK versus Impact when he joined that and it was like against us. Now I don't know if it's people bringing him in because of who he was. You know, again, maybe that's something Cannon could speak on. You know what I
But
mean, or
that's
someone
crazy.
else.
That's crazy. So you're saying that Miho was a part of a group that was against us including
Yeah,
me.
man, I remember he hated all of us.
So this isn't the first time that Miho has been on the other side of.
No,
Okay, so I'm
I
not
mean, I
crazy
think
about it.
no. I mean, and I think that was something. I think a lot of people tended to push for it, like they
Mhm.
wanted to see that because they
Yeah.
wanted him to be the one to knock you out, push you out, like or whatever it is. I always felt like other people were influencing people to do that.
But every time that Miho did that, or you were there for battles that me and Miho had because of these things.
I think I've only seen one or two. The one in the parking lot was crazy because I remember
But
he battled
yeah, but
Zarius.
you've seen
That
it
was
come to
funny.
this culmination of we actually battle because there's a
Yeah,
problem. You've
yeah,
seen that happen.
yeah. It was real. He
Okay.
pulled up late at night. He was ready to battle. Nigga,
Hmm.
you showed up in basketball shorts and Tim's and battled. That was crazy. I remember that. That nigga, that nigga Miho told us all not to hype him up, and then it was dead silent. And he was like, "All right, y'all, can y'all hype me up a little bit? That's hard to
Yeah,
dance like that."
yeah.
Because we were all
But
being quiet. We didn't know what to do. It was
see,
awkward.
but
We didn't
these are the
know.
things. These are the things that I can't I can't reveal to the people. I don't know where that footage is, but as soon as I find that footage, I'm
Ish.
gonna put it out. But this is I'm telling people it's a pattern, and I've been here in every single pattern, but they think I'm doing all of these tricksy things. I'm just telling you how the script is gonna go. I have I have come up to the challenge of anyone. And that's where I get the rep from. I don't run from battles, but now it's like, oh, Ches is running. They're spinning these things, and I'm like, how faulty is it? I want to know about consistency. So Miho has been on the other side. So it hasn't been a consistency with. It hasn't always been tight eyes and Miho. As far as Miho being on the other side, Miho has not always ran on the same lines with me.
Right.
Now, looking from a position of being in my fam. Why do you think that me and Miho were on different sides sometimes? Like why would it be bros sometimes and why would it be the separation? What would you say that was?
I mean, I got two different answers. One would be assumption, and one would be, you know, like what I actually could believe. So
Mm-hmm.
the assumption would be obviously different influences around y'all. So
Hmm.
that's one thing. You got a certain group of friends. He got a certain group of friends. Y'all got two
Right.
different friends, whatever. And then it's like niggas be in each other's ear, and it's like, oh, this
Mm,
nigga be trying to do this, and he be trying to do this. The next thing you know, it's like, boom. What I actually believe too is I believe it's ideals. Like I believe there's a certain y'all got two different understandings of morals or what you focus on or
mm,
integrity and all these different things. Like
mm,
I know for Miho, he has a real like street type of integrity and street
mm.
rules and street law and everything that's there because that's where y'all come from South
Yeah,
Central. I can't say that because I'm not from there.
yeah,
But you guys grew up in a whole different situation, so you guys have a certain belief system.
mm,
Um, I believe you used to have that, and I think that was the biggest similarity. But I think with what you believe and how hard you go for it, like
mm,
it goes a whole nother direction. And whenever
yeah,
you go another direction like that is when y'all tend to split and bump heads and everything.
mm,
Cause when we were in Vegas, not worrying about that type of stuff, niggas was always on the same page. You
mm,
know, the thing that frustrates me is it always looks like niggas is pointing at what's influencing you,
mm,
like they're not being influenced. You know,
mm,
it's like you're the only one being influenced because of whoever's teaching you. If it's
yeah,
David or
yeah.
I don't even remember the person you have now because I never been to your church now. But now that's the new thing is it's him. It's always him. But it's like me and you have had Bible studies over the phone before. Certain things we don't always agree on the same thing. That's normal.
Mm,
We friends. We talk about it. Let's get to the
yeah,
root of it. Let's
yeah,
why you take this approach, Ches, because I don't think that's the right way. And then it's like, all right, well, this is the scripture that I use behind it. All
yeah,
right, but is this what this really means? Is this what we
yeah.
doing? Like,
So
and
we
a lot
went
of
back
people
and
think,
forth with this.
yeah, and that's
This is
that's
a
why
this
we've
is
been
a
friends for
huge
so
thing.
long.
This is a huge thing because a
Yeah.
lot of people think that it's just about crump, crump, crump.
No.
We were following God or doing to the best of our ability. This is what our focus was.
Mm.
So we used the dancing to find a way to stay walking like this. People think it's strange now that I'm saying, "Oh, I'm singing Jesus and Kingdom radically uplifted mighty praise." I'm like
They must have forgot them old Krump tracks.
they've it
Like
seems like
Animal
it's
is a
yeah,
scriptural track where you
it's
talk
just
about
so this is not something this is not fake. Like you saw me in my life. We lived together. So you saw my lifestyle. We live the same lifestyle. And this is a deep question. What possessed you to stay in my fam, seeing all of these things are going on? What the heck are you holding on to? Because you're being ridiculed for being with me. I know that takes a mental toll.
yeah.
You you get exiled even though you were one of the tightest little homies ever, you got exiled because of that. Like, what makes you remain after things like this happen?
The fact that a big homie, little homie relationship, or even my friendship with you has nothing to do with dance.
Mm,
You struggled
mm,
when I struggled. We were there. I wasn't there through everything. Like again, when there were certain times when in Long Beach, I I eventually hit a certain point where I was like, nigga, I gotta go get a job.
hmm.
So I left for a year from
Yeah.
2016 to 2017. It was more so the life friendship of it. Like a lot of people are like, oh yeah, I grew up with this person. I didn't grow up with y'all. I didn't grow up
Mm,
with you.
mm,
Um, but it was a pivotal moment in my life to where I found myself and I looked at the people that were around me and I thought these are the people that, you know,
mm.
at my wedding, these people would be there.
Yeah.
And then as it got real, it wasn't those people no more
Mm,
within like a month's time,
dang.
which is crazy. And that's why I got an issue with some people. But I've even, and I'll be completely honest, I've reached out to have conversations with these people, but it never really went anywhere.
Mm,
Um, like Concrete was down to talk, didn't hear from him.
hmm.
Uh, seen Spartan at Wasteland. It was like a quick, what's up? Ain't talked to him. Ain't heard from Beast since he got dropped.
Now, this Spartan, to be honest with you, I don't know why Spartan has a problem with me other than this is another trip out because he don't got something. In my relationship with him, and you were with me. We lived together. It was me, you, and Spartan in that apartment.
Wild in the hell out.
We were wilding out. Money was low, right?
Yeah, true.
People weren't coming through with that. We had to do something.
Every time we had to, and we made
I
plans.
never lived with Spartan.
Yeah,
Spartan came to us.
mm, true.
He came and he landed when we caught him the best way we could. Even so much so, I gave Spartan more help than I would give some of you guys.
Yeah, that used to piss me off. I ain't gonna lie.
Yeah,
And I had a
this is
problem with
true.
you with that. But
This is the truth.
yeah,
So
you
this
get
guy,
that when you get that nigga that Audi, I was so mad.
you're talking about I gave him a car.
Yeah,
These are things if I tell people, it's going to sound like a lie. Like what problem do you have? I gave you a lot of things that a lot of people should have been in line for. Like you needed a car more than anybody.
man. I'm glad I didn't because it taught me a different sense of just
Mhm.
responsibility. So it was just a time in my life where I didn't need to. So,
Yeah.
did I want a car? Absolutely. Like
Mm.
that would have been freaking amazing. But that's why I had to
You ain't
leave.
go slander me online because of
Yeah.
this. You ain't go out me
No,
and try to
no.
ruin my reputation. This is
But
something you brought to me.
yeah,
Like how homies, bros are supposed to do it. You ain't threatening to kill my wife. You ain't threatening to
right.
shoot up the school. You just was like, I ain't like when you did this. It was
Yeah, I'm
like,
like,
okay.
that's crazy, bro. Like, I could have done it. Like I was
Mhm.
taking the bus, the train, you know what I mean? Whatever it took. And I learned that from ER because he always made it work one way or another. And I was like, you know
Yeah.
what? If it ain't gonna get handed to me an easy way, I'm gonna do
Mhm.
something else. But I did hold that against you for a little bit. And
Mhm.
like I could say that on here
Yeah.
because I was
I
like,
like
bro,
it. I like it all
I
because
don't
it's
like
not
how
some
that
fairy
was like
tale.
felt like people were just getting easier opportunities and things. And that was just like one of those discouraging times to where I
So you
wasn't
feel
able
like
to
you had to
fulfill.
work harder than everybody else at some
Yeah,
point.
or maybe I wasn't working hard enough, or like, what was it? You know what I mean? Like, it was something.
I'm gonna tell you what that is because as your brother, I was your coach as far as dancing.
Yeah,
You always give a harder time to the special ones because they have a different path to take. I can tell who has the fire.
yeah.
Things that are easy, leave easy. My difficult trained
Mhm.
students were the most vicious, and you saw this happen because you end up being one of the ones that were so vicious. Like
It put a chip on my shoulder for
yeah.
sure. Like,
And you carry that, you dance
yeah.
with that, you use that. It made you vicious. Like you had a vicious
I used
run.
to, it just remind me of like conversations we'd have like before something. I'd be like, Chud, you think this nigga's about to get off on me? Like, and you'd be like,
Yeah,
LeVar, I
you make
didn't say
yourself
that.
mad. You'll
You're like,
make
I didn't
yourself
say
mad.
that. But it was something that fueled me. And then, like,
Yeah,
I would say after even Spartan as well, like, Spartan, you think this nigga's better than me? That's
yeah,
crazy. All right,
yeah.
watch this.
This is one of the methods when we're coming out of clown and all that. This is like Krump is being new. We're finding ways to make battles tight.
Yeah,
You were filming as well. You were managing YouTube channels. We were doing stuff that we had no proper training on how to do just to outsource Krump so people could know what was popping.
right.
You were the one behind the lens, the one you were carrying everything, all of the visions that I was having, all of the stuff. It was this guy. He carried the stuff. He was the producer of
And it
everything
was,
that was coming out. It was crazy. It went from this guy Koki, who was the Crump King producer, and everything else in between that was you.
yeah, well, Rich did a lot for
But we
SK
didn't get
too.
a
And
lot of that stuff.
oh, yeah, we got it later.
We didn't have a lot of that stuff on hand. We had to get it gradually. We had it
Yeah,
on hand. It was coming from us. We was producing the music for it,
yeah,
making promos, getting other people involved. We were a source for Crump.
yeah,
I know Little C had the Neff Squad, but it didn't outsource Crump to the nations.
right.
There is localized things happening, but it takes a special local thing to spread abroad. You
Yeah,
were part of the spread abroad because you were one of the little homies. You were one of the A-list little homies. You worked
yeah,
your way up to a spot to where you were feared in the Crump community because you knew how to battle, you knew your stuff. So the little homies, you were a part of this. It wasn't people just wanted to be Tighteyex no more. People
right,
wanted to be a little this. You were a little. You start little Style Ripper. I
mhm,
remember giving you this name and we beginning your training.
right.
And you were terrible at first. If you were tight, look, this is
No,
how it
remember
happens.
I was
You were
tight and then
tight.
I
You
got
were
bad.
super tight. Yeah. Then I gave you the information and it went downhill. But this is how I
Bro,
knew. I was like, oh,
oh,
he's gonna
so
be
crazy.
crazy. The
When
same
you
thing
are
happened to
actually
Big Ass.
good and you understand what Krump feels like, and then when you get a
Mhm.
whole bunch of information, you get
Yeah.
worse
You
because as
shut
you're
down.
dancing, you're trying to think of everything.
Yeah.
And that's what I'm seeing a lot of in Krump now is like, as there's so much information and classes and stuff available
Mm.
and all these different things from all the older years, like it's old and people been teaching the same thing that we were teaching in
Old and
2014.
incomplete.
Yeah.
So incomplete. Everybody just is ready to teach. It's incomplete
Yeah.
because it hasn't been experienced yet. So we were doing the best we could. We were putting out a lot of evidence though, because that's the best teacher.
Yeah.
Sessions. We were Dan battling every single week we was at it. So
Right.
this is not like a claim. You really worked for a position, and now people want to be like you.
Mhm.
And you have to, now you have a responsibility. I want you to talk about these things because once you get a name,
Mhm.
what the heck happens to you? And if you have a name under tight eyes.
So it's different experiences.
Mhm.
Like I said, you drove and got me for an hour, and that blew my mind
Mhm.
because other niggas in Oceanside, if I wanted to go to a session, they'd charge me gas money to come
Mhm.
pick me up and all this. You didn't ask me for nothing.
Mhm.
So that's one thing that's like a different experience that others may not have had. You made sure I had a place to come stay, or whenever I came out, you would
Mhm.
talk to B Dash, like, hey, Lavar's coming out. Can you stay at his house? Or can he
Mhm.
stay at your house? Whatever. Got to know his fam, everything
Mhm.
there. As that stuff started, when I first got the name, I was excited. Ain't gonna lie, got cocky a little bit.
Mhm.
Like the Oceanside, and I'm like, hey, y'all niggas know who
So
I am.
this happens when you get a name, you
Oh,
do
for
get
sure.
okay.
For sure. I got back to Oceanside, like, y'all niggas know who I am, right? This is crazy. Crazy. And they're like, who's Style Ripper? Like, what the heck is that? When we had that conversation at first, I wanted to be in Eyes, and you were like, you're not ready for that.
Mhm.
Um, and I'm glad because I wasn't ready at that time. I would have been horrible. I already went downhill as a Style Ripper, and then I had to rebuild back up. That was tough.
This is funny.
So either way, it helped me rebuild and find a new version of myself. But regardless, yeah, I was feeling myself. I was like, hell
Mhm.
yeah. Didn't even know what a Star Bro was, but I was one. I knew
Yeah.
that much.
But you made it into something. This wasn't a thing, right? Nobody really knew,
Yeah, and even though
aka
Notepad was
Star.
there before me as the first
Right.
junior Star Ripper, but he was Baby Eyes.
Right.
He went as Baby Eyes. He was
Hmm.
Baby Eyes before anything else.
Hmm.
Yes, there was another Baby Eyes, you guys. There's been many
Yeah.
of
Been a
them.
few. Been a few.
Yeah, Notepad was Baby Tight Eyes, aka Junior Style Ripper, and that was like your protege. It always felt
Yeah. Now
like
you saw him come from absolutely no. He was worse than Beast.
this nigga didn't dance.
He was. Yeah. He wasn't even dancing.
Yeah,
He was
but
one
he
of the
worked
tightest.
hard. His
Yeah.
dad put in the resources. He would take him to Mama I's house and be there labbing with us. Like, but as kids, that's when most of us was the tightest because all we did was dance 8 hours a damn day.
Yeah.
So it was easier.
See, this is crazy, and I have to just take the opportunities because people say I divide Crump, like I'm the problem. I always do this and that. But you're explaining that we're going places where Crump is not,
Right.
and we're making it. So that took time and that took work. So would you say if you do see me divisive and you see me take stands, you see me do all of this, what are those things over? Like, what would you say? You see this side of me that's building, and then you see this side of me that wars.
Right.
What would you say is the reason for that? Like, why do I war? Why do I get
A lot
divisive?
of time it's because there's something there or in that community or that situation where things are either broken or lost,
Mm,
or a lot of times there's false information there. Like people
mhm,
hated the whole wave and we was telling everybody not to teach anymore.
mm,
Why? Because there was words coming back of all this false information. It
mm,
always comes back to people. And when we were SK popping, we were
mhm,
getting that information. We would travel somewhere and they're like, oh, well, this person said it's this. And we're like, what the hell? Like now we
mhm,
gotta help rebuild everything
mhm,
because there's people teaching trash
mhm,
everywhere. So as we were traveling the world doing all that, we had to fix that.
mhm,
Or there's people learning from YouTube tutorials that don't even know
mhm.
what Krump really is, or people just
Right.
walking into studios, you
We're still
know,
dealing with it.
as the Krumper, as the Krumper going into a studio because they're local and they do it, and then a real person comes around and it's the real information. So
Yeah.
people didn't
That's
like
the
that.
game. That's the
They're like,
game.
"Oh, you're
That's what I'm learning.
gatekeeping." No, we're correcting because we want Crump to be what we know it can be. The whole hip hop Crump thing, you know what I mean? Like when that was first starting, hip hop
Hmm.
people was pulling people away from Crump, talking down on Crump. Like Crump
Yeah.
ain't nothing. Y'all look
Yeah.
crazy. So it
Yes.
became a whole thing of hip hop versus Crump, and it was war. And people were like, "Oh, why is Thought I was doing this?" Like, and it was really in Europe first. You know what
Yeah.
I mean? Like it was really in
Yeah.
Europe that came back everywhere, and everybody sees what's happening, and they always want to copy it. And
Yeah.
it was Impact versus SK. There's a whole beef, and somehow the whole country
Yeah.
became a part of our beef
Hmm.
because of other people's little homies. And it's like, wait, I'm his little homie. You're his. I don't like you. Like, bro, you don't
Mm.
even know that person.
Yeah.
You can't make up your own mind to have a
Yeah.
personal relationship with somebody. You just got to go with it. That's weird. When this whole thing started with right now's season as well of the whole Miho Bull side versus I side and all this because of a personal situation with
Mm.
two people. Everyone just everything's everywhere. I remember Show Off was like, all right, I'm twin, you twin, let's battle. I was like, Show Off, I'm not that's a dumb reason, and I have no reason to battle you. I'm
Mm.
not gonna battle you. And I've seen him in Colombia recently. I ain't got no personal issue with him. So why are
Yeah.
we going to act like because there's names here now, we have to
Yeah.
hate each other?
Yeah. Yeah. People
It's
be
so
acting.
weird, bro.
People
Like,
be acting.
dang, it's crazy. You know me since I was 17. I'm about to be 35.
That's a wild.
And why
Mhm.
are we having these petty, you know what I mean? Like it's
Right. Right.
stupid. It's
Yeah.
like I'm putting myself in the middle of something because someone else is here. Like I get it. That's your friend. You want to jump in the war, and then here it is. So now this is what we have. And
Hmm.
it's kind of ridiculous, but that's again my view on it.
Why do the wars happen? And you're explaining that it could be about a personal situation. It could be about
Yeah.
the people you're around, a misunderstanding, or it could be about some money. It,
Oh, it could definitely be money, definitely be
I
business.
mean,
And
most of
that
the
comes
time
from
when it was a big
influence because
falling out,
people,
it was
yeah,
money.
it's money, it's business. A lot of falling out with people from the SK days was business and money because they thought we were all going to be rich, but we didn't know
Uh,
what we was doing. We didn't
yeah,
have accountants. We didn't save money. We
yeah,
would go travel somewhere, come back and buy Jordans. Like, what
stupid.
are we doing?
Yeah, stupid. Let's
Like,
go. Let's flip the script. We was at the strip club too, because
oh hell
people be
yeah,
acting like
Ace of
these
Diamonds.
things that
I mean,
happen, and I mean you can say that it is what it is. But this thing with Beast, like Beast is calling out sins and talking about how he's so,
he
and
was
he
with us on New Year's when we was
he
at
was with us
in
in the
Vegas.
strip club, right? Throwing
Oh
money.
yeah, we was turning up.
So these are the things I'm like, why are you not
We
telling
all been
people?
there.
So these are things because people will think I'm lying if I go, nah, this guy was doing this. Nah, he
We
looks
all was
so
doing
nice. It's like nobody can throw sins around because we
right.
was wilding on a different level. We all saw each other.
Yeah, bro.
Like, come
We knew.
on. But then you have Street Kingdom. The message behind Street Kingdom was a faith, godly
Yeah, God's
message.
came outside the four wall.
So we were pushing these things. I believe that because these principles were in it, that is why Crump spread.
Hmm.
And I'm fighting for that message.
Yeah,
No matter how much it wilded out in my personal life, this is the only time I come out to play.
yeah.
I will battle. I will session. You've seen me do this for no reason sometimes,
Hmm.
and it pays nothing. But I have to change. I can't just do the same thing. So you see me war, and it always is over
Hmm.
this belief, what
Right.
I believe Crump is. So which is why people like Miho can't walk with me for a long period of time. It seemed like it had to be broken apart because you have said I'm an extreme guy. I know if I'm doing wrong, it is 100 wrong.
Oh, absolutely.
And I'm not trying to be right. And don't try to do anything about it.
Right.
I'm wrong. I
Yeah.
likes it. And if I'm trying to do God's business, I'm serious about that too.
Yeah.
but you've been with me on both sides of it. You've seen how life was and how Crump was when God was involved in
Mhm.
the movement of it, and then when God was not involved.
Mhm.
Tell me about that difference. Was there a difference for you?
I mean, there was no middle.
There's no middle.
We was
Look,
up or we
or
wasn't. Or
it's
we
no
was up for
middle
God.
ever.
Either way. When we it was a big pivot, and like after the whole church thing, it was like a big release off our shoulders. And it's like, you know what, all these opportunities we had, we about to wild out, we about
Hmm.
to let's
Hmm.
go. Like,
Yeah. All it comes down to is you getting sex and you getting money. That's it. That's what a
right,
wild
that's
out is.
it.
Get
That's
money,
all
get
it is.
sex, get money, same loop.
Right.
So that's
Literally all the songs and all the
yeah.
songs. That's all the songs.
Yeah.
That's all the songs ever. That's a song.
Yeah. Even though we was following God, it wasn't perfect up in
For
there.
sure not. For sure not. But we were a lot of us were trying. I'm saying a lot of us
Yeah.
because I can't say everybody was, but a lot of us were. Um, and then that extreme pivot, that
Hmm.
was we was loose. Yeah.
Yeah. We went dark.
Yeah.
Crump was our lifestyle. Church was wrapped up in that. Training together, being together, laughing together, just creating moments, whatever we could. We
Mhm.
did that from Crump. It was our only excuse to do it. And then that is not happening on the side of light. Like
Right.
we're gathering, but it's a different type of gathering.
Mhm. It was easier. It felt like.
Like lifestyle stuff. Now we're
Yeah.
talking, I can't wild out. I have to forget about this lifestyle and do this one.
Mhm.
I remember you got a big, like, I believe that you were like anointed with an ability
Mhm.
because you popped out of nowhere with it.
Yeah, that was
You
a
were
crazy
tight.
time. Like
You were
2013,
tight.
2014, it clicked. Something clicked. Something really
So
clicked. And I was like,
we were in that church, like
mm,
we were in the presence of God more, even though we weren't
yeah.
doing everything right. We still were, look, we're trying to do this.
Mhm.
It wasn't a game. And it when we turned that switch off, it went completely the other way.
Yeah.
But Crump still remained in that message. Even though I'm wilding out, have I ever told you that Crump was not about God?
No, we never said that. We were just always trying to figure out what we were going to believe, but we always knew Crump was about God and God was
Yeah.
in it because that
Mm-hmm.
there's a feeling that you can't
Mm-hmm.
like ignore. There's a reason why you feel some type of way. There's a reason why there's like camaraderie, there's brotherhood, there's like there's a reason why liveness feels like that.
Yeah.
There's a reason why you feel unstoppable. You feel
Mm-hmm.
superhuman. You
Yeah.
know, like you don't feel like you're in your body anymore.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's and that becomes addicting, you know. Whether you living right or not is something that's there. You can't that doesn't mean it stops, you
Hmm.
know.
Have you had any like spiritual experiences, like stuff that you really like? I don't believe that that was me. I believe I had some type of supernatural help.
Yeah. A lot of
You've
it
had
though
those.
was travel times. Always when you travel, you know, like
Mm,
that's always a time where something happens. There was a time when me and Matt Hatter was in Japan and we was dancing together like it was a session. It wasn't even like a showcase or anything. And people in the room started to cry. And I didn't
wow.
understand why. Like, I'm like, I got done tired and I was like, you like that? Like,
They
and they're
crying.
crying and I was like, hey, Randall, what did we do? What happened? But it wasn't about us. And it's crazy because it was like parents too. It wasn't just the dancers. And then I believe that those parents are the ones that are bringing their kids still that grew up to
Mm,
be something else, you know?
mm,
It was maybe about 2 years ago. I was teaching a class, and then at the end of the class, we was doing a session. There was a girl who never crumped before,
mm.
and this wasn't me dancing. This was me just watching it. There was a girl who never crumped before, and her first time dancing, she started getting off crazy, and then she just had like a release, and you seen her kind of like just drop like heavy. She just started bawling her eyes out again, and then it was just a time for her to let loose, to express, and it was just one of those things. It's like that ain't that ain't
Mm,
no natural thing. That's a
mm,
spiritual thing that just happened. But what I've been doing since I'm older and I've been in this longer now, and I am finding my way back to God. I ain't perfect. I'm far from it, but God showed himself real to me when I was in Colombia, and that was something that changed my life. So, and I'm talking about during a church service out there when everyone's speaking Spanish, I'm just sitting there like,
Mm.
I don't understand.
Mm.
And then the dude comes and starts praying for me, speaking fluent English, and then leaves
What?
speaking Spanish, and he has no idea what he said to me.
What the
That
heck?
blew my mind because I tried to talk to him after, and he was like, "No say." I was like, "This is crazy."
Oh my goodness.
that was that was one of the times where I was like, yeah, God ain't let me go.
Yeah,
This is
he's
intense.
calling me. I must go.
Yeah, and it's when me and my lady decided we had to start building things together more and better. So that's my own personal experience. That's
Mhm.
between me and God.
I like what you said right there because you said you had an experience with God for your own self.
Mhm.
And it's like, well, I don't care what anybody else is doing. I go God. It's
Yeah,
like when you have that experience, because I just told people the real reason why, I left Tommy. Like I put it in the episode. So
right.
when people hear about the real reason why, they're gonna be like, what? Like I had prophetic words. Have you ever experienced my mom being prophetic?
I
Mom
think
was
there
going,
was a moment she said something to me and Travis, Bug, the old kid rep. There was a
mhm,
time we
mhm.
was like, whoa, yeah, she hit us with a prophetic moment too, though.
So you
But we thought
experienced
she was like,
my
we thought she was playing and she was like sleep. Cause she used to be knocked out in that room.
bro, I just spoke about this. I said, my
No
little
way.
homies, I just put it in the episode today. I just told them my mom used to be asleep
Yeah, knocked
talking
out.
to us, and it was on point. And we used to be like, is she really sleep?
Right.
Like, we know she could sleep like that, and we know she'd be snoring,
Yeah.
but why are you speaking like this? So those prophetic moments, my mom is the one that warned me about this whole before the whole ride split. She was the one that gave me the prophetic word. I did not listen to it. I paid the price. I'm still paying the price for it today.
Wow.
The fact that you're saying that's that second witness. Like I know I'm not crazy. You experienced it too. I wasn't
Yeah.
around. You and the other little homie.
Yeah. And we thought it was
So
fake. We thought it was fake at first.
she used to sleep so hard. We have to
She
work
didn't
extra hard to
move.
scare her. We used to try to scare her so she could
Travis
wake.
used to, you don't remember when Travis had that clown
Yeah.
mask waiting in her bathroom?
Imagine living with her. I'm living with
Right.
her. I'm experiencing this on the daily. So much so that I'm like, Mom, get away from me. Leave me alone. Please leave me alone. She's always
Mhm.
saying something. And he was there. He got it too.
But I gotta say this because in Vegas before the whole move, I don't know if this was before Zarius passed or after, but me and you was in a car one night just driving, and I was like, "Hey, Chaz, you still be praying?"
Yeah, I remember that. I
Yeah, and you
remember
was
you asking.
like, not really, but I be trying. You know what I mean? I was like, you ever thought about like, going back to God? Like, are we missing something? Like, we had this whole
Mhm.
conversation, bro.
I
This
remember it.
is
I remember it.
2000, maybe 17, 18, whatever it was. We were just driving. This is SLX time when it was first starting.
Yep.
We was in the car, and you were like, God's gonna have to show himself to me in a crazy way.
Mhm.
And I don't even care what his name is. He just gonna have to show it. He said, I don't care if it's Buddha, I'm gonna follow him. If it's Muhammad, I'm gonna follow him. I just need to know what it is, and he has to show himself real to me. And then as soon as
Yeah.
I know, I'll be back on it 100%.
And by the way, that situation where God needed to show himself, he did. And that's why I'm at the church. I don't care what they say about my pastor. I know who
Right.
he is.
But I didn't hear from Beast no more after he got dropped. I was trying to call him and have a conversation about the situation, see what's going
You,
on.
you had a fam with Beast, right? You had a fam.
Nigga,
Like y'all
he
were
was
a
in
conjoined
Colombia with
fam.
me months before that
Hmm.
because I had an event out there.
So he
I
just
was
switched
like,
up on you. He
that's
switched up
somebody.
on you.
As soon as it happened, it's like I don't know if he just automatically assumed it's like, yeah, I'm Ochez, forget him, nigga. I know you. We
Hmm.
had yes, we had a fam. I've been around everybody in your family. We was at Blue Box. We did all this stuff. It was a different relationship that I had with him. Before I moved, I was at his house.
Beast has been trying to take my spot, or Beast has been trying to come after me in a way.
Well, I don't know. I can't say he was trying to take your spot. I don't know that, but I do know again there was people around him that were pushing him to like, you running this right now, you
Well,
doing
why?
this, you
Why?
gonna have
But
the
that's
big.
my spot. That's what I'm saying. That's my
I don't
spot.
know.
Everybody knows that Tighteyex was the
Right,
top. Why else would you want to knock Tighteyex off? You want to
right.
be in this position. What would make Sherwin do something like this? What do you think?
Money, people
Money?
around. I don't know. Yeah,
Straight. I like that answer. It's straight.
that's what it felt like. I don't know. But again,
That's what it felt like
that's
to
what it
me
felt
too. I'm
like.
like,
Yeah.
dang, okay. The real issue is about money.
Yeah. It's been an ongoing thing. You wanted to drop Beast in 2018 around that
Yes.
time.
And
And
y'all say some people
I
saved him.
believe ER
Remember?
and Rapture were
They
like,
saved
no,
him.
you
They
know,
saved him.
I
Yep.
don't remember if it was Rapture. I mean, he could correct me, whatever.
Definitely ER. I remember
Definitely
ER.
ER. He's like, nah, man, sure easy. Give him, like he got in front of the bullet and everything there. And if it would have happened then this whole thing wouldn't have been an issue of what it was to where it can be flipped to make it look like it's because of the church you go to. You were going to get dropped a long time ago.
Yeah.
That's my issue with him is I knew him outside of that and he didn't even want to give me time for a conversation. I did talk with Miho. Um, and I talked to him and I had a frustration with him because again, he kind of cut me off too, which is crazy because I was talking to him during COVID. Every time I was out there in LA with Beast, I would go to Miho's house.
Hmm.
Like I actually had like a minor relationship with Miho. I can't say I grew up with him because I didn't,
Hmm.
but there was no issue. But because I was still under you. He assumed it would be the same thing. And the part that I had to talk to him about is he said, I met you through the bro. So I can't really. I was like, wait, nigga, you met everybody through him. You met Sherwin through Chaz. You met Concrete through Chaz. You met Spartan through Chaz. Nigga, everybody. But you
Yeah.
got an issue with me?
Mm.
Oh, because I'm still here. Again, I know the issue is him with you. So,
Hmm.
and again, that's likely business stuff. It has, I mean, I know he speaks about the other situation.
This is a crazy thing. Nothing like that happened. I don't owe Joe Artist no money. No money. He has no way to prove that anybody has taken any money from him. I was brought the job for the Clippers. It was brought to me by Neptune. Neptune said he wasn't doing this because he had got COVID.
Mm,
He passed the job to me. I had a manager at this time, 7M. Yes, they're my pastors, but you can do business. We was doing church and business.
right.
You can do both.
David
Every
managed
Yes.
SK, Rich managed SK, and he was it's the
So
same
it's
situation.
regular. So we're doing business and we get hired. I get into a choreographer's position.
Mm,
If you want me, I'm not coming on the dance behind nobody, especially you're talking about a Krump crew. Now, at first, me and Neptune were talking about people like Beast. Even Miss Prissy was in the thing. I was like, I'm not working with Miss Prissy, but I work with Beast. I work with this person. It fell into my hands. I did not hire other crumpers. You know why? Because they're not going to be professional. We have to do rehearsals. We have to be on time. Like, we can't F around and crump around with this. I have my own management team. They're
right.
telling them, you cannot have Ches in this position. If you want him, he's got to be in this position, and this is his rate. I brought Joe Artist on as well. But you know what happened? He doesn't show up for any rehearsals. He does one performance with us.
Mm,
You can't get paid. I'm not in control of the Clippers organization. We're getting checks for every performance, all of us to split was $700. How much money are you getting? Let's
700 for
say
everybody.
for everybody, for the whole crew.
NBA, yeah. I know people
Come
that
on.
dance for like Orlando Magic and stuff, like directly for them too. And it's like they don't
You're
make
not
that
even
much
getting paid
money.
a
You
lot
got
of
to do
money.
multiple games to even start seeing it, and
Yeah.
that's like every
So
other night. Yeah,
we only did like 4 or 5 performances before the cult accusations came out to make us look like a crazy bunch of people. But we're getting paid. Joe Artist does not even show up to rehearsals and not even given a reason why. So I had to tell him, as the choreographer, I cannot pay you. You did not show up for work.
mm,
This is no longer the bro code.
right.
I cannot give you money because they're paying all of us this rate. Do you need money? Okay, you need money. So everybody in the crucified crew gives money to Joe Artist. He receives an envelope full of money, more than all of us made put
Who was all
together.
on that team?
It was me, B Dash, Reno, Vic, Aubrey, the people that were in 7M, Gordon, Concrete, and it was Joe Artist. Joe Artist wanted other
So Kevin
crumpers
knows
in
about
there.
the money thing too, giving it in.
Yeah,
So okay,
he was a part of it. Yeah. Like this is a whole game. So I don't owe him any money, and nobody snaked the job for him. He was brought on, but he had to get put off because you know why? He's not reliable. And that was not my call. Business is business. Of course, you
right.
could twist that to the public, but that's the first time I'm ever even telling that story because it's like people already believe, you already got people believing I stole money, which is this is not the first time you've accused me of stealing money from you. We gave him money, money he didn't work for, as you're having a hard time right now. That's all you had to say. And as bros, we pitched in to help him. All of us gave Jardis money. Even
Yeah,
me, I had to change the way I think about certain things. I can't come with this ghetto mentality in every situation. It does not work. And being a foolish man uh, that don't know nothing about God, it's like, what do you want me to do? Run into a ditch? I'm not trying to F up my life.
right.
You saw me after my brother passed. You saw my relationship with my brother.
Yeah,
A lot.
you was down. You was
You,
down
this is my
deep.
darkest moment. You saw that. You were actually with me when I found him. The day I found his dead body,
Yeah, you
you
called
went
me. I
in there
came
with
straight
me,
to his house.
and you went in there with me.
Yep.
You know it. You saw the impact. You're the one that took the picture
Mhm.
because I needed something. I didn't even
I ain't
know.
gonna lie. That was a crazy feeling. Dang, that's still in my phone.
That's still in my phone
Yeah,
too.
that was a crazy feeling. Like it was just so unreal. And then when the corners and everything showed up, you were you were like, I need a picture with him before like
Yep.
they take him so I can, I
Mhm.
was like, you want me to take a picture right now? Like that felt crazy. I'm like,
I
should we do
couldn't.
this? Are we
I
allowed to do this?
couldn't.
Is what it felt like. But
I could not. I had nothing
wow,
else. My
yeah.
phone was about to die. I had nothing else. I was like, I
And then he
need
about to be gone. Yeah,
something. I need something. I'm desperately reaching for something. I'm like, he's gone. I cannot believe it. I need something I can look at.
yeah.
I don't care what position he's in. I just need something. And you took the picture. We're both
I was destroyed,
destroyed.
man. Dang.
So people don't know how close me and you are. You were there. This is one of the darkest days of my life. This day, it used to keep me up and torment me at night. I needed God's help. I went dark and silent on everybody.
Yeah,
You see my relationship with my bro.
yeah.
It I couldn't even I wasn't even trying to live, to be honest. I was just trying to go somewhere and check out silently. This is the reason why I didn't respond to nobody. So when I found God, I needed to focus. I was getting ready to die. I was having heart trouble, having heart issues. My
And
wife
that's
had.
not even. Let's be honest. That ain't the first time.
Mhm. So
There's
yeah.
been multiple scares through multiple
Hmm.
generations of SK too. Like when you were with Tonika too, you started coughing up blood. Y'all started going to the doctors. You was getting medicine. We didn't know what was going on. Then
Hmm.
it seemed like it got better.
Yep.
Like I don't know what that was, but it seemed like it got better. And then when we was wilding out in Long Beach, me, you, and Spartan, I remember I think like Destroyer came over. I don't remember who else. I think B Dash, and you was like, you about to retire. Like you about to be done because your heart can't handle it. Like
Mhm.
you feel it. Like you know what I mean? Like you feel like you about to die and you dancing and all this stuff. It just. So the
Mhm.
heart issue came back. You just couldn't leave Krump alone.
Mhm.
It just couldn't happen. And then when I touched base with you again, right when I moved, I got a video. Audrey reached out to you for my birthday,
Mhm.
and I got a video from you and Tav.
Mhm.
This is before he went to be with his mom out there.
Mhm.
Y'all was wishing me happy birthday. And he's like, Uncle Var. I was like,
Mhm.
this is crazy.
Well, you was there when
So
Tom Ray was born. You was holding
yeah, I
him
was
as
the
he was
first person to
born.
hold him. First person to hold your son.
But this
Uh,
is this is a new thing that like, I don't take care of my son. I'm a deadbeat. This is a new thing. It's coming from people
I
that
saw that.
know me.
I saw that.
So it's
Which is
like,
crazy, right? Because now I don't have any kids, so I don't know what it feels like hearing that coming from people that do have kids in Crump. Maybe that's where they're coming from their
it's
experience.
crazy.
But my thing is, this is discussions that you had with Michaela when things weren't bad.
Hmm.
Like, well, I mean, it was bad financially.
Yeah.
Like we was all struggling.
Always. We were
Yeah,
always
but it was
struggling.
that thought of like, if she goes back home and takes him, there's free health care, there's
Mm,
all this stuff. He don't have to struggle and grow up like I
mm,
did. It's a
mm.
whole nother situation. And it was just that plan of talk. And it's like, damn, that'll suck, but they'll be happy. She'll be happy,
Hmm.
because at that time she didn't have like friend. There was like one or two people that she knew. She couldn't really go out like that. She was helping you
Yeah.
with Granny. Like,
Yeah.
she had a hell of a time as well. So it's like
Hmm.
all this stuff going on. She'd be happier. He'd be happier. He's in a place where he can do all that. And then as you can go out there and see him or, help or whatever, all these things are possible. And that
So
was a talk.
you remember me having this conversation.
Yeah, bro, you were in deep thought about it.
Mm.
And that might have honestly been before Zarius passed as well. It's been
Hmm.
back and forth. You might
Yeah.
even talk to Zarius about it
Yeah, I did. I did.
because I know he was going through situations too, trying to figure out, what he's going to do, what he can do. So, yeah, I was there for those types of conversations. So it wasn't, again, a church situation. These are things that's been going on for years. And this is something you haven't said publicly. So maybe this is up to you to talk about. But all those little heart scares after Zarius,
Yeah.
when
I
you're
was
going through
suffering.
everything, it came back.
It was a trauma thing. It was a trauma thing I really didn't know. If I didn't have my wife now, who people are threatening online, like my relationship with the woman is real.
Mhm.
If she wasn't there, I probably would have rolled over and I probably wouldn't be here right now. She was the only source of like joy that I was having because my heart used to beat irregularly from the time I saw Zarius. In the inside, something just went off, something went wrong. I couldn't even cry until later because my body wasn't acting right. So I know when I come in contact with an intense event, my heart starts to do
Mhm.
irregular stuff. So the doctor told me I had ventricular fibrillation. I don't even know if I'm saying that right. It's a crazy tongue twister, but an irregular heartbeat. Like my heart won't rest. So I always used to feel like I'm doing full rounds.
Mhm.
Like I couldn't sleep with it. And I thought that my heart was trying to give up. I went through this for months. I died in Japan.
Mhm.
Miho was there and Cannon was there. Cannon is
Which
the
is why I think another reason of why Miho feels a certain way, or whatever it is because again, he was saying like, yeah, they was there and helped save your life and get you back, and Miho was ready to fight the doctor or nurse or whatever the
this
ambulance
is the
people.
thing. How are you going to save my life fighting the doctors that are going to help save my life? You don't know how to save my life. So yes, you're there panicking, but you're fighting the doctor. The doctor's pissing his pants. I heard this story and I heard Cannon's side. I only heard Miho's side. When you die, you die. You don't know what
Right,
happened.
you don't know what's going on.
My heart
He wasn't
stopped.
even
So I'm
there.
getting like, what happened? I woke up in the hospital. I didn't understand what the heck happened to me. I'm learning these things from Jarvis. I'm like, okay, well, he pulled my tongue out of my throat.
You was trying
So
to swallow
it
your
must have
tongue.
been a seizure situation. He said he felt my heartbeat stop. I don't know. I wasn't. So I have to go by what he said. But Cannon, a whole different story.
Mhm.
And Cannon was the sober-minded one who was able to calm everything down because Jarvis was so frantic. I'm gonna have Cannon on here to talk about it because when you die, you die. You just don't know. So all I have is these two witnesses. Jardis has already told me his side. And I'm like, man, well, thank you for saving my life. Who wouldn't say that? Like
Right.
you were there, but that's no way to, you don't bully people over this information. I'll save Jardis's life too. I'm not going to bully you over that. So you have to bow down to me. Thank God you were there, but you weren't the only one either. Cannon had a part to play. So I need to thank Cannon too. You're not the only one I have to thank. Now that I hear Cannon finally told me just a few months ago. And I'm like, dang, all of that happened? He would say he was traumatized. But because of that, my heart restarting, it was always an attack on my heart to be irregular.
Mm.
And at the time after Zaris, it got so bad. I used to not want to sleep in the same position that I found Zarius in. It was a tormenting thing. My wife used to cry because I'm on the EKG all night. And what I believe in God too. I'm like, if I go, I'm not ready. I have so many things I want to do. I have no money. My son needs this. I'm on the EKG. And one day I was like, put your hand on my chest. I told my wife, put your hand on my chest. She got scared at the way my heart was beating
Mm.
to where she took her hand off. Like, I can't believe that's going on inside of you. How do you feel? I'm like, I just feel like I'm about to die every day. Every time this happens, I feel like I'm about to die. My energy drops, my vision gets low, my taste gets weird. And I was going through this, and I remember feeling it, and it was like heart palpitations on drugs.
Dang.
I'm trying to like, is my heart beating? It's just taking so many breaks. It's like fast and it just takes a long break. I'm like, I am getting ready to check out.
Yeah.
And I went outside and I prayed. I was like, God, I need you to heal me. I want to be healed. I don't want to die. I don't want to go to hell either. I don't know how real that is, but I believe it. I've actually got testimonies. I'm like, just heal me. If I gotta die, just heal me and forgive me for whatever I've done. I didn't make it. Then
Wow.
I started to get a little like sensation of ease as I was praying. So I'm like, okay, I think God heard me. I meet the pastor. He gives me a book. He doesn't put his hand on me. This is the pastor I met. He gives me this book. My heart is tripping still. Nothing. I'm at the doctor. It's $1,000 every visit. My wife was paying. He gives me a book that he had written out of his experience with healing, and it was called How to Get Healed and Not Die. I read that book. I fell asleep reading that book. I woke up and my heart was healed. I felt a normal blood flow going through my body. I had energy again. I was healed. I got healed. Now I am in the bed by myself. KO is in Atlanta filming for the Step Up series. I'm by myself. I went to him about it. I feel like I'm about to die. I want to make sure I'm right with God. My heart was every day. And he gave me the book, which is why I'm able to dance. I wasn't dancing because I couldn't dance, even though my skill level went up after Zarius died. Didn't understand it, but I couldn't maintain like a steady heartbeat. When it was bad, it was bad. When you in like a death, when death is in front of you, it's different. After Zarius, when I saw Zarius's dead body and how heavy it was, and I tried to lift him, I
Mhm.
could not believe it.
That was so crazy.
I could not believe it. It was I had Zarius's ashes with me every day. I used to carry him around. I was dying. I was dying in my mind. I had no joy. Failure after failure, disappointment after disappointment. I was depressed. I didn't want to commit suicide. I would just rather naturally die. That way I could have a better chance of making it to heaven.
Yeah.
I was thinking about death a lot, and I love my son, but I was thinking about death more than my son. I'm like, I don't think I'm going to make it. What is he going to do? But the main thing I'm trying to get, like, we experienced life together. It wasn't just Krump and we fight for clout, fight for power. We have had our differences, we have had our disagreements, yet we remain friends.
Yeah. Name or not, don't matter. Don't matter if
There's a way to do it. There's a way
yeah.
to not kill each other, but some things need to be handled when it comes to Crump. And you
Yeah.
know I'm about that,
Right.
which is why I'm active again, because that same thing is being attacked. We're just going to do it a different way with more wisdom, but I'm still here and I'm still for the war.
Right.
because now I have even more confidence than I had before. But we, your Crump lifestyle is based off of friendship, not really off of names and what people deem valuable in this
For
world.
sure. Because that's what all it was from the beginning, from what I've seen. And again, that's the thing that made me fall in love with Crump in the first place.
Mm,
And that's what made me stick tighter to the friends I had around, even though so many different things happened with Nate. He was Jay Graham. He was on a whole nother side and all this other stuff. I'll never take away the fact that uh, he introduced me to Crump in the first place. You know what I mean? That's where
mm,
it came from. That's where I fell in love with it. I remember because we had a whole crew together. Uh,
mm,
you know what I mean? I'll never forget people like Donovan and the times we spent at his house. You know what I mean? Like
mm,
training at the beginning in the garage and all these different things. And then when I
mm,
met the people like Joey like a year later or Knucklehead,
mm,
Bash, and I think I met Grim in like 2 years later, 2006. That's when I
mm.
met Outrage. First time I seen B Dash. I think he might have been Baby Hitman. I think this is before he was Baby Truth. Like that
Wow.
was yeah, that was a long time before.
Wow.
Yeah, he danced way different.
Mm.
But or Twin Hitman. I think it was Twin Hitman. Maybe yeah,
Yeah, he was
whatever it
twin.
was.
He was twin. He was twin for sure.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So yeah, that was like 2006, 2007. So that was way before, man. And it was just one of those things to where you kind of make friends through it and then sometimes you lose friends. But
Yeah.
or really no, let me not say that. You make friends through it. And sometimes people grow apart as people obviously mature, go through different life experiences, whatever. You believe different things, you just go different paths. People split. That happens naturally. Sometimes it's peacefully, sometimes it's with drama.
Hmm.
Um, and then sometimes they're just people but y'all ain't really friends.
Right.
Like there's a lot of people I know that I've met over the years, but I mean, I ain't gonna count on them for anything, or I ain't gonna look for them to come to any life events or anything, or but I ain't got no issue with you. I'll see you. What's
Mm,
up? Um, but the dance side, the battle side, I mean, I got my agenda, and
mm,
I got some people that I'm gonna be looking for in the future. But obviously, I'm still training, still recovering. That's the
mhm,
hardest part. I hate how I dance versus Knucklehead. I wish it was way worse. I wish I did a lot more than what I
mm,
wanted to do. But again, a couple months before that, I couldn't walk. So
yeah.
it's been a journey of physical therapy, going to the doctor, doing blood tests to make sure I'm good, doing
Mm,
EKGs on my chest, my heart to see what's going on.
mm.
Just a lot of things, man. Like I'm about to be 35. I'm trying to
That's
make sure
young.
I have many more years in my life, and when me and my lady do choose to have a child, that I can
Oh
run,
yeah. Yeah,
with my
for sure.
child because
For sure.
a year ago I couldn't run. I barely was able to walk, you
Yeah.
know. So that's an interesting thing, but I want to make sure, obviously, when I do address the people that I have, on my list to approach, that it's the fullest version of me.
Mm,
And I'm better than I was instead of like, oh, I wish it was the old low Star Ripper. Like, nah,
mm,
I would body him. Like, and even looking back, to when I was in Colombia, I was dancing way better. I was dancing faster. Everything was
mhm,
good. But yeah, that injury kind of messed me up. I know people are excited to see me kind of get back out there and combo again
mm.
because a lot of people's combos ain't what it used to be.
Yeah.
The game ain't the same.
Yeah. Do you believe in kingdom radically uplifted mighty praise?
Yes.
Do you believe that Crump came from hip hop?
No.
Do you believe there is a lack of loyalty in Crump today?
Yeah.
Did you pass the loyalty test?
I've been in the same place since, I was 17 and I'm 35 now.
Wow.
But I mean, if you ask Joey, he thinks that I left. But again,
Okay.
that was just a lifestyle
But
difference for
you've
the
planted
time and
somewhere. You've
that
planted
pressure.
somewhere and you've been there for a
Yeah.
consistent amount of time.
Yeah. Yeah. Longer than most people have. I've seen people come and go.
Has Miho, Little C, and Miss Prissy been consistent to you?
Not in the same field. Um, in terms of like community and stuff. They kind of hop around with what they're doing. Like,
Mhm.
Prissy was real busy in the industry, and then it was like I'm in the community, and it's like I'm back in the street a little bit, and then I'm in the community, and then industry, and then now she like teaching. So it's good for the variety, but like consistency to where it can be seen over generations and people actually know. Um, people will pay homage and always drop the name, but consistency there, no.
Have you been called a dick rider?
All SK season. What are you talking about? That's all it was.
Like, that's
Miho even
all they
said
go.
that to us. That nigga said, wait, he did a song. Hold on.
Didn't he rap it on some footage?
Yeah, bro. I wish we had it. That's
Yeah,
the
on
night when he showed up.
some tie
He
I
was like,
dick. Yeah,
all
yeah.
y'all niggas make me sick. All y'all niggas on Tada's dick.
Like, what the
That
heck?
was the same night when he battled you and you came in the shorts. He battled Zarius right before, or ER right before that.
Hmm.
That was funny.
It's important for people to know what it's like to really become a leader. You didn't have a name, then
Mhm.
you worked your way up to get a name. Then you got a name under the top crumper in the
Which was
world.
unexpected. Yeah.
Different pressure, different lifestyle. Those who come close to me, if you really want to be with me, you have to live the type of lifestyle I live. You did
Mm.
that. We walked the same path. Man, this is a lot said. I actually want to get on the phone with other members of the fam and we can talk like as a fam. People are used to seeing fams operate as they did in the DVDs
Yeah.
or when we were actually putting these things out. This is how people got to know how Crump worked. So I'm going back to that. And we have a lot more to offer now than ever before because we're more than just the Titus crew. I believe
Right.
that we're still the Buckus, but there's really not a good level of competition, but we can create that, and that's what we're doing right now. Yeah, people are going to get violent, but this is just the dirty work. But when we finally get that lineup, we will shoot them down, and it will be a
Right.
flawless victory. And we are about that. We know what it takes. We're actually gearing up for it right now, but more than that, it's coming from a place of friendship. We believe the same thing. We've
Mhm.
been through things. We both know that God is real, so it's no pushback there. If we're
Right.
doing something, we're doing it with our whole heart. We have to make sure that we walk together and agree so we can get it done. And this is what makes this thing work. So when we come out, like the Style Ripper fam, it
Mhm.
booms. Like
Yep.
Style Ripper fam was worldwide. And it was an experiment. We had never got on
There's
something
people
like
still doing stuff like that.
so you were a part of a era switch in Crump. You've seen these same things happen, and I want to give you more opportunities to speak and even teach. Like you're one of the people I recommend to. If you're gonna learn Crump, you need to learn from someone who has been an outsource, who has learned from an outsource.
Right.
That means he took the information, made it to where he becomes an outsource. These are the people that you can trust, and the
Right.
principles are there, the honor is there. So this is what Crump is about. We're creating this system so that we can live and learn how to walk in love with each other. Because that's why we're still friends today.
Right.
And this is not a the pastor ain't making him be my friend. The pastor's not making me. This is my dog. This is
Yeah.
so it's like we have to say these things because people are getting to know Crump for the first time, but they have to filter through all the bitterness and hate to see the clear picture.
Right.
This is StylEyez, LeVar McCree,
A
aka
government.
Mr. Six, aka the old little style rip, the jersey. He hung up the jersey,
Yeah.
went to
Yeah.
Twin Rip, made Twin Rip a crazy thing, hung up that jersey. He's hung up two jerseys and given his name that he worked to build to other people who are hungry. So that's the real definition of a leader. He'll pass it down, he can outsource it. And he's in a new position. Like he's in the eyes fam. And it's
Yeah.
not about fam, but if we have to fam up, we will. But it's more of a brotherhood. It's like a agreement. Like we ride to the wheels, fall off, dog. His eyes.
I was still holding on to Twin for a while, but I wanted to give Flipside that chance because he been in the fam for a long time. That was the whole
Right.
conversation we had.
Hmm.
But I was stylized and Twin Rip for a while.
Hmm.
I just felt like it was time for me to move into another place. Like I felt faster. I felt different. I didn't feel as abstract anymore. I felt sharper. Like I felt like I had a different edge to my crump. And as I was moving over to Colombia, I knew I wanted to start something different. So that's why we had that conversation before I left. Like hey, I'm thinking of, doing this type of pivot to my style. Like, what do you think? You think I can move into this? And you were like, yeah, let's do it. It's yours, whatever you want to do. But it wasn't something to where it's like the styler wasn't enough. That changed my life forever.
My fam, we did it all. We had to produce it. We had to rap it, mix it. We had to edit it. And this guy was with me every step of the way. So I
Right.
know we have a lot more to tell you, but you will get that in time. So my brother got to go to bed. I got to go to bed because my wife
It's
went.
2 o'clock. It's 2 o'clock in Dallas right now. 2 hour time difference, but I had to make sure I got on this call and we could talk. I got work at 7 in the morning.
All right, y'all. So you heard it from legendary little homie and one of my closest friends in this world today. So I'll see you guys next time. Peace. Peace. Peace.
20 years in the making, and here we are. And the truth is finally going to be spoken.